Welcome to the VHS Vault, the house that didn't build New Line Cinema. I'm your host, VHS Jason. Next to me is Jason Gaston. How are you, sir?
Sup?
Sup?
I'm not good.
Oh,
I'm not good at
why?
all. This is the
Why?
first
What's
time
wrong?
in my entire life that I've actually willingly watched Nightmare on Elm Street 5 all the way through. And now I'm depressed.
You and millions of other people walking out of the cinema in 1989 to see Friday the 13th, Part 5. I did see this in cinemas. I have no memory of it. That generally happens when you have a traumatic experience. You
Yes.
tend to block memories out. So, going back to Friday the 13th, Part 5, which I'd only ever seen in the cinema, going back 30-something years later and now rewatching it, I went in pretty open book because it's a long time between viewings, you know? So,
Yeah.
I went in thinking, okay, Dream Warriors is rock solid, right? That's great. We've got Dream Master, right? Dream Master's good, right? And so I'm thinking we're on a good positive trajectory here. So that's how I felt going into the movie. Was this on repeat for you as a kid? This is something you watched a lot, Jason?
For Part 5, no. I'm being serious. I think that this is the first time I've ever watched it all the way
I
through.
always thought you were kidding.
Because it's bad. It is so bad. It's basically, hey, you guys know Freddy Krueger, that dream demon that everyone's scared of? Let's turn him into a stand-up comedian who does not tell good jokes. That's an amazing idea. Oh no, why did we not make any money?
Wow. This if that was the only problem with this film, Jason, it would be okay. And I think we're letting the cat out of the bag here. We have some issues with this one, and we've got to get through them. But let's start it off on a positive note. You said last week that there is a motif that happens. If you notice at the beginning of every Freddy film, they're building something, they're making something. Well, you're kind of right with this as well, because the opening seems like a scene of conception to me. That they are, hey, tastefully shot.
Only a lot.
See things it was very what you would say TV movie shot. No, real anything too offensive in that, except how lame it was as an intro.
There was that bit whenever I watched it as a kid with me and my friends thinking, is that an elbow or is that a boob? I don't know. I don't know. Let's keep watching. Maybe it gets better, which is pretty much what I thought throughout this entire movie. Let's keep watching. Maybe it gets better. And just like that first scene, I was constantly disappointed.
Yeah. Look, it's all about tone, right? It's not about the content. It's all about the tone and the execution of why I think, holy, this film just doesn't work as a movie. It's a concept that is interesting, but the execution is horrible, Jason. The only way I can talk about this movie tonight is just jump around stuff, all right? So that's what that's how it's going to be tonight, folks. We're just not going to try to go through it beat by beat. We're just going to go through it. The most offensive thing about this film is the fetus to me. And its representation.
Oh my God.
And how bad this movie is. And it's not the design of the fetus that offends me. It's just how they use it as being an important part of this story. It was a lame duck. And it looks bad. It looked bad.
It does.
You know?
It does. I remember I watched the sequence, and whenever they were showing the fetus inside of her womb, and then they showed the fetus's face, I was like, oh, it's possessed by Freddy. No, that's just the way the fetus looks. Freddy's standing behind the fetus, and the fetus just looks bad. That's all. This entire movie looked cheap. It looked very cheap.
It did. And look, I'm going to take a swing at the lead actress here, Lisa Wilcox, who I thought did a really good job at number 4. Unfortunately, I don't know what was going on with this, but even her performance in this, I really struggle with. I have a little bit of sympathy because some of that stuff that she's got to do in this film is just horrible. you know. But I mean, Jason, okay, so we get the intro, and then we get into the film. We get established where her life's at, right? So
Yeah.
it's a year later after the events of Dream Master. She's got a whole new set of friends that's like, oh, we've been friends forever. Like,
Yes.
like, don't you notice it's a very like, let's just reset the clock. Let's address the trauma without actually having any consequences for that trauma.
I just love that scene. You know, here's my new friends. This is what's her face. This is who's it's. This is thing 1, thing 2, and Mr. Expendable.
They're all dead later, so don't worry about them.
This is dead meat. This is dead man walking. This
is that the other massive problem with this? The side characters literally brought nothing to the table. There's the one African American actress who seen her in a lot of stuff. She's very kind of good normally. She plays the one with. Well, in the beginning, she seems like the logical character, and then at some point through the movie, she's like, "Yeah, logic doesn't matter anymore." Like,
pretty much like the screenwriters, yeah.
Oh my god! And Robert Englund, what was he doing in this film? Because it seems like just earning a paycheck. Like, no offense, Robert, I understand and I respect maybe why you didn't give it 1,000%, because they made you deliver garbage.
Absolute
this is a horrendous script, Jason. This is horrendously written, horrendously executed, under director who I'd never heard of in my life. And based upon this, I'm wrong. I thought it was someone else. The director of this is Stephen Hopkins, an Australian director.
Oh, so it's your country we have to blame for this.
Yes, you got to blame us. You got to blame us. He's
oh my gosh.
He also directed films like Predator 2, so he gets a pass for Predator 2.
Okay, Predator 2 was good, yeah.
Judgment Night, which I really do enjoy that film. Remember that? With Emilio
yes,
Estevez
I do remember that, yes.
The Ghost in the Darkness, which is kind of okay. So, yeah. And I think this film is the worst thing he's done, and it's supposed to kind of look like a music video, a lot of it too, and that's my problem too. Every time Freddy's on screen, right?
Oh, hold on, let me do this.
Yeah.
Bad one-liner. Ha 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 ha.
Every time, like, the makeup looks horrible in this one. It looks like a rubber mask. You know,
it probably was. That's probably how they got England to come back. It's like, well, you don't have to spend 6 hours in the chair. Let's just put this mask on you. Nobody's gonna care. It's a Freddy movie. Well, okay.
We've got to give shout out to the little creepy kid in this, though. We've got a picture of him. I know I've had a picture of him somewhere.
Oh, little creepy kid. Creepy kid.
Yeah. Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal. So, baby Jake Gyllenhaal, I'm going to call him.
Is that really?
No, that's like it, right?
It does look like him. Wow. I thought you were serious for a minute. I was just like, why have I never heard this before?
Yeah. No, but he did a good little performance. He played the creep, who is a representation of Alice's kid.
Yes.
That's what I kind of figured out with this.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to get it. I know last week we had a problem with this, Jason, when we were talking about when was it reality, when was it fantasy, when does it cross over the line? For this one, I just don't care. I'm not even going to waste my time trying to analyze what is in the dream world and not in the dream world. This film fell flat for me on every level. I'll be honest with you, we've watched some stuff on this show that I have not been looking forward to and has been a grind. But this was the worst viewing experience I've had since we have started the show.
It seems like to me,
and we watched all the Jason films.
Oh yeah. Let me tell you something. The worst Jason film looks like Casablanca compared to this. It looked like to me that the studio took a focus group, showed them part 3 and 4, and said, "What did you like the best?" And all the 12-year-old boys said, "I like the jokes." Well, the audience likes the jokes. Let's put in lots of jokes. How much does it take to hire a comedian to write jokes? Oh, that's way too much money. Steve from accounting, you do it.
Yeah.
Better not dream and drive. Perfect. Write that down. I love it. Yeah, it was just terrible. It was cringe. It was cringe from beginning to end.
You know what? I agree with you so much, because one of the biggest cringe things for me is they tried to go shocking for shock's sake.
Hmm.
Like the idea of the Freddy fetus is for shock factor. The idea of parlaying the difference between Alice like being, there's that dream sequence where she's kind of like playing Freddy's mum, and then she's not. So there's this pseudo sexual thing going on there, which is really uncomfortable for me. No, I don't know. I don't know what happened here. I don't know what direction they were going with, because if they wanted to go more with the funny, where were the jokes?
There were none. It was
Because
puns. It was all puns.
he's ended up becoming, well, he is. He's a C grade action hero with one liners at the end. Really,
Yeah.
that's what. Like Freddy, I mean, I'm sure Robert Englund like wanted more, wanted to be able to say more and do more as that character. It must have been really tough for him at this point. But I'm sure he was. The budget was $8 million, and I'm sure he got half of that. We deserved even more of it.
He deserved it all,
this
but yeah, to
garbage.
put up with this was terrible. Now, listen, if you ever saw that episode of Rick and Morty where they made fun of Freddy Krueger with Scary Terry, this is where
Wonderful
all of that
episode.
came from. It was a wonderful episode, but it was basically, ha ha, bad joke, bitch. Ha ha, bad joke, bitch. And it just never stopped. And I'm just like, okay, they took that line from Nightmare on Elm Street 3, which I said was the beginning of the end for Freddy being scary, and just like, they like it when he says the word bitch. Let's just keep doing that.
Well, I agree, and I think the problem there is with Freddy is there was a line there. There is a balance there, dude. I believe, of being terrifying and being funny. But the funny must, I believe, personally, if I was to make a Freddy film, must be the kind of funny that's nervous laugh, like scared funny. That's the thing I get with him. I think Freddy could be rebooted again. I really do think so. It'd be hard to see it without, but I think there's a way of doing this character again. I just wish Robert Englund was young enough to be able to express that,
Right.
But yeah, not in this. I mean, not in this. It's horrible. Like can you even remember what the parental figures were doing in this movie or affecting this movie in any way?
Yeah, they were being
Dad was
terrible.
cleaned up.
Dad
was
had cleaned up. The
granddad.
Yeah, the mother who wanted her daughter to go into modeling was friggin' terrible.
Oh my god, so one note.
Dan's parents were awful.
Mm-hmm.
Just all the parents in these movies are just terrible on one level or the other.
And of course, in great tradition of these recent movies, 3, 4, and 5, let's really diminish a character from the previous film in this film, as they do with Alice's boyfriend, basically, I think.
But was Dan really that great of a character in the last movie?
No, but they still treat him like. I mean,
he was a jawline
the
with
truck scene. Yeah, the pickup truck scene wasn't bad from a practical effects. That's the only thing it's got going for this film is, again, and no, actually, it's kind of counterproductive. Even though Freddy looked hot, they did do a couple of things practical effects wise that was nice.
Yeah.
But are you shocked to know that it was only an $8 million budget? I mean, this thing had made hundreds of millions of dollars worldwide at this point.
I was very surprised it was $8 million because it looked like it was made on half that. Because it did. It looked so cheap, from the lighting to the makeup to the special effects. Everything looked like it was done on the cheap, and it shows on screen. So to hear $8 million, honestly, I thought 4 at the most.
Yeah, because the other 4 was on the cocaine budget, clearly.
I can tell. I can tell.
Yeah. So look, it's one of those films where I think this must have been a rush job, dude. Like, just everything in this is I randomly go and
sphincter of evil.
Yeah, I mean, there's some nice stuff in here. There's the demise of Dan's scene. What about this dinner scene, which was kind of a weird?
It was
bizarre. It's just
dumb. That's
It's
it.
a
It
good
was
joke,
just
but they
dumb.
keep it going though, Jason. Like that scene goes on way too long.
Yeah,
Um,
it just seems to me like they wanted to do more, but they weren't allowed to, or they just did not have the imagination for it. I
well, they
honestly
didn't have the
expected them to go with
script.
yeah, I honestly expected them to go with like a Monty Python situation where they keep feeding her and she gets bigger and bigger until she explodes or something like that. But I thought it was just lame, just feeding her until she chokes.
It's
That's
just
not scary. It's just lame.
it's
That's
like it
it.
should
It's
have been the
just lame.
beginning of something else, but to have that
Yeah.
as the whole. But like honestly, Jason, this is a film that I think was a 50-page script. I don't
It
think they had
feels
much
that way.
more of
Yeah.
this because for 90 minutes, dude, and because the old adage is it's a page a minute. So if you're going to
Yeah.
write a script, generally it should be a page a minute.
Yeah.
This is a clean 90 minutes and it drags. It drags like we're watching a slow 3-hour thought piece.
Yeah.
And that's
With
when
no
you
thought.
know you've got a massive problem. Massive
Yeah.
problem.
Uh, I have to agree. I think that this is the first time I've ever watched one of these movies where I was just plain bored. That right
Yeah.
there, the when the guy who had
The
like the
take on me
multi
scene.
yeah, the take on me, the aha scene.
Yeah.
That to me was the absolute bottom of the barrel to this movie because
Yeah.
the entire sequence, I just wanted it to end. Not because it was scary, not because I was afraid, because it was just so stupid. From
It's
beginning to
cringy.
end, it was a stupid comment, a stupid scene and a stupid idea, and it just would not end. And I think whenever Freddy jumped up and said, "It's Super Freddy," and he went through that whole,
Oh, I blocked that
more
out.
powerful than 1,000 maniacs. And I don't even think it was Robert Englund playing Freddy right there. I think they got
No, it
somebody
wasn't.
else. And I died on the inside watching that. I
Oh,
absolutely died. And I think Robert Englund did as well because I think that's whenever he stopped caring about Freddy, at least until New
yeah.
Nightmare. But yeah, it's just
Yeah,
awful.
100%. I'm just
Awful.
scrolling through some of these images for the guys, just getting sent. Oh,
Yeah.
the whole
I did like that. I did like that.
what's the name of it? The famous artwork. What's the name of
MC
it,
Eicher.
Jace? The
Yeah,
Aisha. Well, they're doing
Eicher,
the
yeah.
Aisha painting, and it works well. Works really well for it.
There were lots of things where they played with the perspectives. Like I remember watching
Yeah,
Alice
that's a
look
nice.
through this. Yeah, she was looking through a doorway, and it just looked like a normal doorway. But as she was looking through it, there were chains hanging down towards the camera. So it was just, oh god, oh god,
Yeah,
oh no.
the kid had the power all along. I
Ugh,
don't have an image of Super Freddy, and I'm so happy that I don't.
thank you. Please
'Cause,
don't.
But yeah, I mean, the way they ended though, which is a curious question. Did you feel like they thought this was it?
No, no. I thought that they were going to keep making sequels because I mean they spend very little money on them. They make a lot of money.
Well,
I
look,
felt that they were
still made $22
yeah,
million, $8
yeah.
million budget,
It's
made
the
22 in
lowest.
America.
Yeah, the lowest one so far. So of course they decided, okay, well, this cash cow's over. Let's kill him in the next one, and let's make one last run at the box office. I think that they were planning on making another one. I think that seeing Freddy try to escape from Amanda was the indication of that. What did you think of the inclusion of Amanda as the savior figure in this one? How did that strike you?
Amanda's being the savior figure in it. Couldn't have cared less, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I felt
Thought
that
it
there
was
was some
dumb.
potential there. I
Well,
honestly
like,
felt there
honestly, I was
some potential.
so. By the time that came along, mate, I was so jaded. And that scene
Yeah.
could have been 3 minutes in, but I was so
Yeah.
jaded. It's just like nothing. But it does bring up questions, and I think you're right. How could you have redone this? Because do you think that the kernel of the concept of like the child kind of coming through? I think there's something there, Jace, because fetuses do dream. They've
Yes.
been. So there
I
is an
like
idea there.
I like the idea that he comes through a fetus to get at everybody, But the question is, why couldn't he get through them the normal way? Was there some reason why he wasn't? I know that Alice was powerful, but what was keeping him from going after Dan the whole time or comic book guy the whole time? I didn't understand
Jesse
that.
in half.
Yeah, I just never understood that. Now, I think it would have been interesting to see, Freddy return and be more powerful, and nobody knows why. Why is Freddy so powerful? How is he getting to us now? Because we're on this hypnosil that's keeping us from dreaming. How is he getting to us? And then find out maybe 3/4 of the way through the movie, oh, Alice is pregnant. He's getting to her through the baby, and have that be a big twist. I don't think I don't know what Freddy's end game was. Was he trying to get reborn or something?
I think
because
why
would
reincarnated, and I
want
think
to?
he wanted to use that babies to be
but why?
Carry out. That I don't know.
But why? Why would he want to?
I don't know.
I mean, it just seems like to me you're a powerful dream demon. Why would you want to become an infant?
I think that the idea of him talking to the baby in the dreams of the fetus would be a good opening. I would have gone with, because you wouldn't have had the budget, but this is the way I would have gone, with the Omen route. I would have had him dreaming and talking to a 4 or 5-year-old boy in his dreams and making the kid do stuff then while the kid is malleable and being able to do it. And Freddy's been part of this kid's head all the way through since being a fetus. That is where I would have taken it.
Yeah, you could have still called it the Dream Child if you wanted to.
Because he still would have been the Dream Child. And then you would have had the Omen creepy thing. You've got 2 threats going. You've got the kid killing people in the daytime. You've got Freddy killing people when they dream. It's, to me. And look, I'm a dumb Aussie, and I just came up with that in 2 minutes. Hollywood writers. How much favors did you get? How much, how do people get these roles? How do writers like this get paid for garbage like this? And it's not one guy. Idea. It's a group of people. It's gone through 5 or 6 different people. It's just, it just nuts to me, that this would even got green lit. And I'm going to go on around here, and I reckon it's the same problem Halloween had, the same problem Friday the 13th was. They were way too focused on release dates than quality. They had to pump one out every year. And because of that, you're not going to get the best material, are you? So,
no, you're not, most definitely.
And we really pay the cost when we're the 5th film in, or we're the 9th film in, or whatever. We really pay the cost of that. And this is a film that absolutely... we suffer for just really poor storytelling. The fact of the matter is, this completes the inner trilogy of this franchise. Because part 6, whole new world, right?
Yeah, I agree, and I'm going to go off of what you said. I think that studios want to dumb things down because they want the audience as broad as possible, but they've never seemed to realize that whenever you dumb things down so much, they don't broaden their audience. They close it off to the absolute bottom feeders of horror.
Well, it's also the naivety, Jason, of studios going, well, we learn things as we go along that better inform us what to give the audience. And they never account for, but the audience learns as well, and their knowledge and their expectations of what they'll buy on screen is evolving like the studio knowledge is evolving. And they never think of it like that. So yes, we get delivered stuff that maybe 20 years ago we would have bought into wholly and solely, but we're smarter. We know about this stuff. We need more. And I reckon in the late 90s, that nerve throughout Hollywood is starting to be exposed. We as an audience at this point want more, would you say, intellectual content, or content that's a bit more well thought out and not as basic?
I would say that the horror audiences are more sophisticated than the studios give them credit for.
Exactly.
Way more sophisticated.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Movie makes
that's where it ends up.
Depressed.
And it does, but that's where we've ended up with a film that, honestly, for 1989, it was forgettable because, as we know, if anyone who's old enough to have lived through 89, maybe didn't realize that at the time, but it was one of the greatest years of cinema. especially that summer. What a summer of '89
Oh.
to the movies, you know.
Batman. Oh my gosh, Batman was a phenomenon. I remember that.
Batman's a phenomenon. You've got Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. You've got Back to the Future 2. You've got Lethal Weapon 2. You've got
Star Trek 5.
Star Trek still made money. What else? But you got a lot of big franchise, big ass titles that year. It was a shock summer. I remember that.
Ghostbusters
and
2.
I'm sure Ghostbusters 2. You know what I mean? We're not talking about the quality of all these films, but Ghostbusters 2 did indeed. It was a film that made a lot of money in its opening weekend. So
I've got a soft spot for it.
I
know a lot of people don't, but I do.
It's what I hate the ooze, but I like. I like
your love. Keep on lifting me.
That's the problem.
Higher.
It's not buying.
Higher.
I'm from Australia, and I went. I'm not buying New Yorkers into love all of a sudden. And I haven't even been there before. And I'm going, nah, not the New York I've seen on film and television. So yeah. But we move on from this. It doesn't, believe it or not, this film does not kill the franchise. We do get another run of it. However, we don't get it the next year, Jason. Funnily enough, they do take a year off because the next one is until 1991.
Yes.
Freddy's dead.
Freddy's dead.
And they had that
final nightmare until the next one.
Yep. And I'm not going to talk about it too much because we are talking about it next. But all I'll say as a preview, they had that much confidence in the script of this film. They thought that having a gimmick would only just be the icing on the cake, not the way to kind of cover it up. So,
I mean, they had Breckenmeyer. I did not. No.
You did not? I did.
No.
I get to talk about that. That means I'm a better human being, by the way. Just let you know I got to see it in 3D.
You're just old.
Did you? Yeah, because it means I'm old. I'm that old that I actually got to see Jaws 3 in 3D.
Oh, dear God.
In 1983. Yeah. As a 10-year-old, it was amazing.
Oh, my gosh.
Like, it opens up and there's the body parts floating past you.
Oh, dear Lord.
Awesome. Back then, you know. There you go. Explains a lot now, being, having to watch all this torturous stuff when I was younger to the man I am today. We're going to finish it off there. We can't stretch out. We can't beat a dead horse anymore.
No.
All right.
No. Who do we look like? New Line Cinema? We can't beat a horse like this.
The fact that we got to 27 minutes in this show about this movie is a miracle on its own.
I honestly think this is the worst movie we've ever covered on VHS Vault. And we've had some doozies, but this is the worst one.
Because it's like, it just feels like nobody cared.
No.
Feels like nobody cared at all. And we've seen films that have been worse actors, worse budgets, horrible cinematography, cheap sets. But what makes a film work sometimes is passion and just everyone giving their all, and nobody's giving a shit in this film.
None. No dookies given. No dookies taken.
Dookies given.
They didn't care. The audience didn't care. It was bad.
Yeah.
And
Which is a shame because
the audience was there for a more sophisticated Freddy movie, because we don't get one with the next one, but the movie after The New Nightmare is a very sophisticated Nightmare on Elm Street movie. And I think one of the most underrated in the entire franchise. So I honestly can't wait to talk about it.
Now I'm thinking about it, Jace, and I don't want to give away because I haven't seen Freddy's Dead in 30 years either, so I'm going to watch that this week. So I might have a different attitude about it. But if it was right now, I could see a strong argument for being able to skip 5 and 6. So do 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I think you got to do 3. I'm even questionable about 4. I reckon you could do 1, 3, and 7, and you're going to get the best of Freddy out of them.
Yes.
I actually think. 1, 3, and 7.
And Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, you ain't on there yet. That's beyond. That's not film. That's cinema. We'll get to talking about cinema. I can't wait. Like, to be honest with you, we look behind the scenes, guys. It's been a year since that was the original impetus for doing Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th in the beginning of this. We did Friday the 13th, and it was very early on before we even recorded our first episode. We were getting excited about doing Jason versus Freddy. and the level of commitment we've had, and we're not there yet, but we're getting closer, Jason. I love it. All right. But of course, it's not just about what we want to watch. It's about what you want us to watch, isn't it, Jace? And they could do that by commenting below in this video, giving us recommendations. What should we watch next?
Yes.
So,
and speaking of which, I have to put my glasses on so that I can see into next week to see what we will watch next. And next week, I see candy canes. I see lollipops. I see fairy dust. I see. Is that John Lithgow? What does that mean? Wait, that can only mean one thing. Christmas and John Lithgow. My friend, we are going to be looking at the classic tale of holiday heroism, Santa Claus the movie.
Oh, yes. Well, you've got the biggest producers in the world in the soul kinds. They've just come off making the Superman movies. What could go wrong? So, can't wait to... I haven't seen that since 85. That is not a lie. I've not seen it since 1985. Whoop. So, yeah, I'm thrilled about that. I can't wait to watch it. In fact, I don't even know where I'm going to find this film to watch somehow, but I'll get it.
Well,
I'm sure Amazon or...
I don't know if you have it there, but I do believe that it is on Tubi here in the States. So if you guys at home, want to watch it before the show next week, Tubi, it is free. Watch it.
Brilliant.
I'm sure you won't regret a moment of it.
I'm pretty sure we've got Tubi here as well, so that'll be great.
Awesome.
We'll be able to all check it out. I can't wait because I tell you what, I'm a sucker for Christmas. I'm going to be honest with you. I love me Christmas time. So yeah, let's get stuck into it. All right, guys, thanks for watching.
Well,
and
Freddy's all Christmas. He wears red and green, so yeah, he's totally Christmas.
Time. He's always festive. We know that.
Yes, he is. He's jolly.
Not in this film. Not with the lines you had to say in this film.
But he was laughing constantly. Ha 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 ha! Hey, Mr. England, can we get you to laugh another 5 minutes? Ha ha ha! Kill me! Ha 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 ha! I want to die! Ha 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 ha!
Yeah, exactly. We'll see you next time. That movie was so crap, Jason. That was
How
tough.
crap was it?
I mean, hard enough to talk 30 minutes.
That movie was so crap, I fertilized my garden with the DVD.
Yeah.
That movie is so crap, I opened up the DVD and it attracted flies.
Movie so crap that the videotape disintegrated itself 20 years ago, way before its shelf life, because it knew it was crap.
This movie